Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today I got 7 CGC 9.8 comics to invest in on a $900 budget. But really quick, I want to talk about just my CGC 9.8 philosophy, I guess you could call it. I should probably talk about this a lot more on the channel, to be honest, because it's really like the fundamental reason why I really love collecting CGC 9.8 comic books, and even why I started the channel pretty much. But, you know, in the 1980s and 1990s, that's the era I really love to collect, and I'm so nostalgic for those books. In that era, comic books were not very rare. Yeah, so, you know, when you're coming at it from a kind of an investor collector perspective like me, buying the CGC 9.8s in that context really makes a lot of sense, I think, to get like the most rare version of something that's not really rare, I guess would be a way of putting it. Also with the CGC 9.8s, I really like having like a 1 of 200 or a 1 of 500 or a 1 of 1,000 collector item, or some of them are, you know, even like a 1 of 30 collector item or something like that. That's a really good feeling, I think, and also looks good on paper, like just having that top graded item that's limited, but a really good feeling, I think, and that's some of the, I think, the pride of ownership of buying CGC 9.8s is definitely a positive. But yeah, just worth touching on my original 9.8 philosophy. I should probably do it a lot more because, you know, I almost forget on all the videos usually. Okay, but let's get right into it here. I got 7 CGC 9.8 comics to invest in on a $900 budget, continuing our budget series of videos here. All right, so first one on the list, it just is an Edge of Spiderverse #2. Yeah, the first appearance of new Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen, pretty much. Like, probably one of the most popular modern books right now. Very well collected in the CGC 9.8. If we have a look on the census, 2,344 9.8. So that just gives you an idea of how popular this one is. It's very, very popular. 56.8% the CGC 9.8 ratio. So that's not too bad for a modern, but when you kind of compare this one to Ultimate Fallout 4, which you're sort of inclined to do, they're both kind of the Into the Spider-Verse new Spider-Mans and Spider-Womans. 56.8% of all graded copies are CGC 9.8, so over half of all graded copies are 9.8s. That's not the best rarity. Ultimate Fallout 4 is right around 30%, so of all graded copies, I think it's 29 or 30% of them are CGC 9.8, so the lower the better with these percentages. So I always liked Ultimate Fallout 4 better in as a 9.8 basically. And I'm pretty surprised by some of the prices in Edge of Spider-Verse #2. Saw a couple sell, so obviously we're at a $900 budget here. I saw some sell over 900. Like, admittedly, there's a couple of these even going for more than some of the Ultimate Fallout 4 9.8s. I wouldn't recommend that. Yeah, I don't think this book is sort of as good, I guess you could say, as Ultimate Fallout 4 in the CGC 9.8 specifically. But seeing a couple sell under 900 for $850 and $865.01 one went for in an auction. So I think those are good prices to kind of aim for if you want this book. You know, Ultimate Fallout 4, that's going to be on the next budget video basically. And that's, you know, usually about $900 to $950. So I wouldn't end up paying more for an Edge of Spider-Verse 2 in the 9.8 than an Ultimate Fallout 4, given that rarity. And, you know, like for Miles Morales, I would say they're about equal popularity. So, yeah, personally, Edge of Spider-Verse #2 definitely belongs on a $900 budget list. But I would not, you know, definitely, I would hope to get this one closer to 800, let's call it, in the CGC 9.8 for an Edge of Spider-Verse #2. Okay, next one is such a classic. It's a Batman The Dark Knight Returns #1. Yeah, but probably one of the most, if not the most popular Batman comic book to collect in the 1980s. You get a first appearance of Carrie Kelly, the girl Robin, basically. There's a lot of potential there, I think. Like, Carrie Kelly's kind of totally slept on. Like, she could easily be in a Batman movie and everyone would be amazed, and this book would probably double, like, because it's the first appearance of Carrie Kelly. I think she would actually be really cool in a movie if they wanted to go that route. I don't know how they would incorporate it with Batman being kind of an old badass in this one. He's like older, he comes back. Batman Dark Knight Returns. Some people think of this one as almost like the first modern appearance of Batman, where like he's older and he doesn't care about anyone's feelings. He's just a complete crime fighting badass basically, whereas older Batman's more like a bit older and naive, which most comics are. Yeah, a great modern rendition of Batman, so collectible. There's 548 of these in the CGC 9.8 blue label, 17.3% the 9.8 ratio, so that's great. Yeah, for a Batman book, even in the 1980s, it's even almost better than great, I would say. Yeah, of all graded copies, 17.3% of them are CGC 9.8s. So this one fitting on a $900 budget. Interesting, like there's one online right now for $7.99 or best offer, but I noticed like the case is chipped. So I think a really nice copy of this one in the CGC 9.8 is definitely fitting a $900 budget. A couple that had sold, 862 and another one for 863. Yeah, so right around, you know, a couple definitely selling around that level. There's been a couple that have went over 900, as you know. I think with this, once you get a little higher in the budget, some people, you know, maybe for a really nice copy or something, or they just want it now, they don't mind paying another $100 or whatever for. Admittedly, these are all like amazing grail key issues that you could want to hold on for a really long time, I think. But Batman: The Dark Knight Returns #1, first print too. Yeah, that to stress that. Under 900, right around these sort of 850, 860 completed sales, I think is just a great buy right now. And yeah, this will probably heat up a little bit more going into the Batman movie right now. So I think right now is actually a decent time to buy. Hopefully, certainly under 900. Okay, next one here. It's G.I. Joe #1. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero #1. I've wanted to talk about this one in the 9.8. It's come quite a long way. And it's interesting because when I had purchased mine about 10 months ago, I would call it now, I made an unbox video saying I like overpaid for it. And I purchased mine, it was like $375, I think it was, which I had saw some at that time sell for around $300. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I overpaid $80 to $100 for this one. However, this one's gone on a big roll, I think. It is the first appearance of Snake Eyes. First appearance of Cobra Commander, first appearance of Baroness, and like all the other Joes, there's a bunch of first appearances in it. And Snake Eyes, the movie's coming out, I believe next year at some point. Who knows what's gonna happen with everything? But that seems to be getting some good buzz, and I think people are liking the Snake Eyes actor, and I think G.I. Joe fans just like the idea of a Snake Eyes standalone movie, him being one of the most popular characters. So this has just really, I think, exploded. Yeah, obviously fitting on a $900 budget. We'll talk about prices in a sec. 612 CGC 9.8s in the blue label, 20.2% the CGC 9.8 ratio. So yeah, this is one, like getting into the 20 percentages, it's not that rare in the 9.8. Like it's decent, but it's not anything to really pay up for. So I think that's probably why I made my sort of overpay video, knowing that this one had a ratio in the 20 percentages for an 80s book, which is sometimes not worth paying up for, but clearly the market sort of thinks otherwise in this one, because it really just fitting it on a $900 list. The one thing about this one I noticed too is you don't see very many of them. It seems like the collectors are really kind of holding these tight. There's only 612 of them out there in the 9.8. But seeing one sell for $901.43. So I thought I'd put it on the $900 budget video, just making it maybe. But I do think, you know, given that the 9.8 ratio isn't that rare, 9.8 percentage, I would maybe look to get this one in the sort of range of this video. So, you know, 850, 875. However, you know, when these movies are coming out, there's a lot of speculation and a lot of people are remembering how much they love G.I. Joe and they get pumped up about it and they want to buy maybe some books like this depending on their budget and they don't know too much about the price or the rare, let alone the 9.8 percentage. So, you know, if you want this one, hopefully you get it under 900. But yeah, this one has just come a long way, and clearly I overpaid 10 months ago at 370 or whatever it was, 375. I couldn't have imagined what would happen with like coronavirus and then everyone getting back into collecting and then all these 9.8s pretty much doubling in price, and G.I. Joe was one of them, certainly. Plus the movie, that's where you get to it being really expensive now, but it's definitely still one to want and to talk about, even though it is a lot more expensive now. Okay, next one here is, I do have one, an Amazing Spider-Man 252. Yeah, absolutely. Just a super classic book, so collectible. You can almost never go wrong buying an Amazing Spider-Man 252, I think. You get tied for first appearance of Black Costume, the Amazing Fantasy 15 cover homage of the first appearance of Spider-Man. I just think makes this one so collectible. And yeah, I was really pounding the table for this one, when I started the channel, and, a year ago even. This one was about 400. Sometimes you see some sell for 350 in the 9.8. And back then, I was just one of my top recommendations all the time. I just felt I'd grabbed 2 during that period. Yeah, one of mine was over 500 though. I kind of gotten a bidding war for one of them, but I managed to grab 2 sort of during that period. Now it's really taken off. Venom 2's coming out, so every symbiote book is sort of heating up, I guess you could say. On this census though, it looks really good too. Yeah, this one just from all around, it's a great book, I think. 1,315 CGC 9.8s out there in the blue label. That for me, given like the popularity of this book, is not that much. Like you'd almost expect it to sort of be like a Wolverine limited series #1, where there's like 2,000 and something, like that type of 80s book, or a Secret Wars #8. That's another one where there's like 2,000 or 3,000 of them in 9.8. And you really like to see on Amazing Spider-Man 252 in the 9.8. 11.2% of all graded copies are CGC 9.8s, so almost a single digiter. That's a really favorable investment type of ratio for a 1980s book. So this book just kind of has it all, to be honest. Spider-Man's so popular, first appearance of the Black Costume, Amazing Fantasy 15 makes the homage, makes it so collectible. It's pretty rare on the census, like, yeah, great one. So one went for 861 cents. Another one I saw go for $900, right around the budget. I think there were a couple that are basically going right around 900. There have been a few that went over 900 and maybe even over 1,000. Like one or two of them may have in the newsstand too. Yeah, this is one, like I got the direct version. You get the little Spider-Man here. I got a newsstand one in this too. Yeah, I was grabbing 2 of them. Kind of wanted to get the direct and the newsstand. But the direct probably going to be one that you can likely get under 900. They're about the same though, to be honest. Yeah, some of the newsstands kind of during this era for this book specifically are going for about the same in price. But yeah, as you can tell, I really like this one. I got 2 raw copies too, I think. So just one to collect all around, regardless of your budget. But hopefully under $900. One selling for $860.01 there. I think that's a really good price target for this one. Amazing Spider-Man 252 in the CGC 9.8. Okay, next one here is a Batman 423. Yeah, these are this is such a great list. These are just like all my favorites almost. So Batman 423, I'm a big Todd McFarlane fan. Todd McFarlane didn't do very much Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan too, so this one was an obvious one for me. This is one of my favorite issues ever, I gotta say. Yeah, I got 2 in the 9.8, and I think 5 in the raw, in the first print, and one of those 5 is a newsstand. That's in pretty nice shape too for a raw. Not a 9.8, but a nice newsstand in the raw, in the first print of Batman 423. So you do want to go after the first print. It's either Batman's face here. It pretty much always is Batman's face here, unless you see the rare newsstand version, which it would just be a barcode. But there's the second and third prints that they kind of look the same, so you just want to go for the first print in those cases, and that's how collectors gravitate, I think, for sure. But I really love this one over time, recommending it a lot on the channel here. 129 CGC 9.8s. When I first started recommending it, there was like 80 in the 9.8, and I always loved having 2 of the 80 something or whatever it was. But picking up in popularity a bit, and the Batman movie's coming out, so 124 in the 9.8 now. 12.2% is the CGC 9.8 ratio. Oh no, wait, I read that wrong. It was, yeah, 129 CGC 9.8, 14.1% the CGC 9.8 percentage. So of all graded copies, 14.1% of them are CGC 9.8s. If you notice, that's lower, it's more rare than Batman The Dark Knight Returns in the 9.8. That's really favorable. Yeah, for a Batman book, this is very, very low, or a very rare 9.8, I guess you could say. Batman 428 is the Death of Jason Todd. That one has an even lower ratio. That one's, I think, is 11. So those are, yeah, like these 2 and then the Batman 428 are great 1980s Batman CGC 9.8s to consider. But Batman 423, covered by Todd McFarlane, so classic. I've said in the past, it's kind of like a Spawn prototype, this cover, where you just get Batman's cape everywhere. So McFarlane's kind of perfecting his cape game here in 1988 before getting into Spawn, and Spawn's all about the crazy cape, I think. And yeah, you know, I think I've always said like, Spawn is kind of like Spider-Man and Batman mixed together, sort of, maybe with like a Dracula vibe mixed in. You know, Batman 423 is almost like a Spawn prototype to me. Having a look at some completed listings, because this one admittedly has went over $1,000 at certain points. There was even a completed listing on eBay, and I'm sort of skeptical of it. I think it was like $1,200 one sold for. But you're seeing a couple, if you're patient on this one, $868.86 was the one auction that caught my eye, kind of. Unfortunately, with this one, there's only 129 out there. Auctions are few and far between, you know, maybe one every 2 months or something like that. So you kind of got to be patient and be on top of your searches, I think, to have it fit a $900 budget. But I just wanted to put it on a $900 budget. It will be pretty tough to get it, I think, at that price, because with the Batman coming out, new Batman, you know, fans coming out of the woodwork, maybe buying some classic Batman books like Batman 423. So, yeah, I would aim for under 900, but I wouldn't be surprised if you have to pay over 900 for a nice one if you really want it right now. But definitely going around this price, and it's one to recommend. Only 100, yeah, still only 129. One of 129 collector item is just really cool for how awesome this cover is and how classic it is if you're a McFarlane fan for sure. Okay, next one here is a What If number 10. Yeah, this is getting into the 70s for this one. And it's first Jane Foster as Thor in this sort of what if storyline from way back when. Yeah, this one is, I noticed it, I recommended it on a video, kind of a standalone video, maybe like 3 months ago there, because I noticed some were kind of flooding the market and they were selling for like $750-ish kind of. I think even were under, yeah, some were under 700 at that time. But I think this one's heating up again, yeah, you know, kind of barely fitting a $900 budget, I think. So there's 124 CGC 9.8s in the blue label for this one. Yeah, really kind of similar amounts to Batman 423. 12.2% the CGC 9.8 ratio for this one. So this one a lot older than Batman 423. But of all graded copies, 12.2% of them are CGC 9.8. It's not that bad for getting into a 70s book. What if number 10, you know, I think this one, trying to pick it up on a lull here would be a decent idea. And if you were into flipping, maybe you'd flip it in when the Goddess of Thunder movie comes out late next year or whenever it's going to come out. That might be a decent strategy, but this is just, you know, if you're right into Lady Thor, this is kind of the one to get, certainly. Having a look at some prices. I saw one sell for $750. This was like a month ago. So that's gonna put it on even the $800 budget, but most of them lately are selling for sort of $800 to $850. With one, even I saw one sell for $1,000. Like, I don't know if that was not a transparent listing by eBay. Maybe sometimes they don't show the offers at times, but I think you can get this one on a $900 budget, and it's a decent one. It's a, you know, a one of 124 in a character that probably will heat up a little more, and then at that point you'll have some options, like maybe if you want to be more short-term about it, you'd sell during maybe when that first trailer comes out for the Goddess of Thunder or whatever it is. You know, that might be a good strategy, but this is one that you can definitely hold for a really long time and enjoy. Yeah, great cover. Cover homage of the first Thor too, and only 124 of them out there in the perfect 9.8. That's pretty cool, I would say. Okay, the last one on the list here, yeah. Okay, it's one I think maybe 2 auctions I've lost for this one. It's an Amazing Spider-Man number 210. First appearance of Madam Web. Yeah, I really love this cover. Yeah, over time too, I just like it even more and more. And I think with this one, and I got an Amazing Spider-Man 238 in the 9.8, those are just kind of the 2 classic covers with 2 pretty big villain first appearances for the time, I think. And yeah, this one's one to focus on, and we'll get into maybe some of those auctions that I missed out on. But 131 in the CGC 9.8 for this one. Interesting too. So 131 in the blue label. When I think it was, when I first bid on the one that I wanted, which was, maybe 10 months ago, and I lost out on it, the 9.8 ratio was sort of like 20 to 19%. So there were the Disney Plus movie rumors or show rumors that she's going to be in her own Disney Plus show or something like that. So a lot of these came graded, like a lot of these flooded CGC and got graded. Now the 9.8 ratio is 12.8%. So it was 19-ish%, I'm pretty sure, if my memory is correct, maybe even over 20. With a bunch coming to CGC based on that, Disney Plus announcement. I'm sure that's why. Not a lot of those became a 9.8, so 12.8%. That's a, really nice ratio, I think. Not as good as like a Hobgoblin or anything, but I imagine that'll come down and maybe even get into the single digits if this Disney Plus series comes out and Madam Web really has a long burst of promotion here with that show for a while. That might not happen for a couple years, but if that show doesn't even happen at all, I still love this cover. As I said, I think this is just super collectible, and the 9.8 ratio is trending in a great direction, and you like to see that just from sort of an investment perspective, because, say if over time this one became almost as popular as the first Hobgoblin, maybe it could get into a single digit 9.8 ratio, and then at that point, usually the single digiters end up getting into the 1,500, 1,600. The Hobgoblin book right now, I think, is around $2,000 for one of those now in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, and I'd purchased mine for about 1,100 or something like that about a year or two ago. Anyways, Amazing Spider-Man 210 though, looking pretty great on the census, trending in the right direction for a 9.8. $735 I saw one sell for on eBay. So this one too, yeah, I've pretty much forgot to put this one on the other budget video. I think an $800 budget is doable on this one. But given some of the potential moving forward here, I think maybe even it could fit a $900 budget where, maybe you want to pay $825 or something like that in an auction, and hopefully you take it down for this one. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 210, great cover, first appearance of Madam Web, lots of potential with her, and yeah, just again a great cover that you can really enjoy having in your collection, I think, and it looks good on the census, so it's a great 9.8 too. Yeah, and I love I pretty much have all the Amazing Spider-Man keys. Like I love just the trade dress Amazing Spider-Man. So I feel like, I've got outbid on this one 2 times. Yeah, and they were, I think one I remember bidding maybe $710 or $715. And then another one ended up going, it was right around when the Disney Plus got announced, and it went for like $900 or something like that. So yeah, this one heated up and now it's maybe cooling down. So that's even another reason to go after this one. But yeah, this would really just fit right in with my collection, because I got 238, 252, I have 300, 299, I love Amazing Spider-Mans, and I got all the keys, so I really want this one, and hopefully, yeah, I guess right now, I should probably try right around, under 800 if I can pull it, but maybe still fit in a $900 budget if you really want this one, and a good high potential future, I think, for Amazing Spider-Man 210 in the CGC 9.8. Okay, that's it. All 7 got through there. I'll have a list in the description below of all 7 if you want to take a quick look. But just concluding up, this was really like a great list. I think, for this amount of money, certainly you'd expect a great investment grade comic, and I think you can expect pretty much all of these. You can, if you have a long-term time horizon, you can kind of expect them to probably steadily increase in price. That might not be the case for maybe some that are heated up. You might have to have a little bit of short-term pain, sort of 6 to 12 months after these movies are gone. Like, after the Venom 2 movie, will Amazing Spider-Man 252, as great as it is, will it still be $900 12 months after Venom 2 with, no other symbiote thing coming on? I could see it maybe getting down to like 800 or 700. So, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, there could be a little bit of a kind of a secular uptrend with the 9.8 market in general, so that could happen too. Or, some of these will pull back based on, the promo that's happening, and that's, I think, what is more likely to happen, I would say. Okay, though, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video here. $900 budget, so yeah, next one will be $1,000 budget. I think over 1,000, I'm gonna go, maybe chunks of 500, possibly like from 1,000 to 1,500 one video. We'll see how that goes moving forward here, though. But thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support and just the comments. People reaching out to me on Instagram is awesome. Yeah, message me on Instagram if you did have any questions about whatever it might be. Thanks again for watching, though. Really appreciate it, team, and I'll see you on the next one.